Finally, I bring you the explanation of the movie Most Wanted. It's a fierce mafia story with heavy action. There is revenge for a friend's death, and one dock worker can take on a whole gang of 12. You'll only understand it if you watch the full movie. So this video will be the most exciting and thrilling one yet. Let's stop wasting time and start the explanation of this fast, action-packed film. At the start of the movie, we see a man giving information to the police. He has been working undercover as a dock worker at Visakhapatnam port in India for 1 year. His real job is to find secret information about the smuggling syndicate inside the port. This port is not like the other regular ports in India. Here, the biggest smuggler, Simon Xavier, rules. After taking a long lease from the government, Simon became the full owner of the port. His son Arjun does not want to be directly involved in his father's smuggling gang, but because Arjun is a customs officer, he can cause problems for his father in government matters. After taking control, Simon turned this port into a smuggling paradise. Every day, huge amounts of luxury watches, gold, and electronics are smuggled out worth crores of rupees. Over 14,000 people work for his huge syndicate, and all of them must pass strict checks to enter the port each day. They are not even allowed to keep their own phones. The informer also says that a dangerous gangster named Dayal runs the port operations. Dayal is the second boss in Simon's gang. His name may sound harmless, but he shows no mercy. He looks calm, but he is the most dangerous person in the whole area. If anyone betrays the gang or leaks port news, Dayal will even harm their family. Because of this fear, no one has dared challenge Simon's gang all these years. But the police had been trying for a long time to stop this smuggling syndicate. That's why they sent an informer to the port disguised as a dock worker. After working there for about 6 months, the informer finally managed to give all this secret information to the police. The next day was supposed to be his last working day. After that, his mission would be over. But before that could happen, Arjun told Dayal that there was a spy inside the port. Hearing this, Dayal took a hand mic and called out worker number 137 in front of everyone. The informer, scared, slowly stepped forward and kept saying that he knew nothing. But Dayal pulled out his phone and showed him proof. His family was already being held hostage. Even then, the man denied being a spy. Right away, Dayal's men killed his wife and children. At that moment, the informer realized his life was already over. In anger, he grabbed Dayal by the collar, but Dayal easily overpowered him. Then, in front of everyone, Dayal killed him and hung his body from a ship's crane. Dayal warned all the workers that if anyone else tried to spy like this man, they would face the same fate. But Dayal also knew there was still another informer they hadn't caught yet, so he announced a reward of 20 million rupees for anyone who could turn in the second spy. The next scene takes us straight to Chennai. We learn about a man named Deva who owns a large boarding mansion. People who stay there must follow very strict rules. Rule number 1 is that no tenant can even touch alcohol inside the mansion. Deva absolutely hates alcohol. For the past 30 years, he has not even touched a single drink. Because of his strict rules and his strong personality, everyone in the mansion fears him. He carries himself with a kind of natural swag that makes him stand out. But there is one special day every year when all the tenants celebrate together. This day is called Mansion Day. On that day, everyone begs the manager to get Deva's permission so they can drink for just 1 day. At first, the manager refuses out of fear, but after so many requests, he finally goes to Deva. From the way Deva talks, we clearly see why everyone fears him so much. The manager talked to Deva with fear, but Deva gave no big reaction. Instead, he surprised everyone by saying he agreed to drink alcohol with them. But that day, they had no chance to bring alcohol from outside. So, Deva told them to bring out all the hidden alcohol. He knew many people secretly kept alcohol there. Everyone brought their hidden bottles and poured them into a big pot. Then Deva said cheers and kicked the pot from the second floor. It fell down, and at that moment, everyone understood that as long as Deva was there, they would never touch alcohol again. During the celebration, Deva suddenly received the news that his friend Rajshekhar had died. He quickly left and went to his friend's house. But when he went to pay his respects, Rajshekhar's daughter Preeti told him to leave right away. Why was Preeti so angry with Deva? You will soon find out. Feeling insulted, Deva sat outside the house. There, he saw a man named Ravi holding a bottle of alcohol and crying. Ravi kept saying, "How many more dead bodies will we have to see like this?" Hearing this, Deva felt something was wrong. He immediately asked to see Rajshekhar's original autopsy report. When he saw it, he was shocked. The family had been told that Rajshekhar died of a heart attack, but the real autopsy report said something completely different. Deva also learned that Rajshekhar had left his job at the research center 5 years ago. So what was he doing all these years? How was he supporting his family? Before finding the answers to these questions, David decided to meet Preeti once again. When Preeti again tried to send Deva away, he asked for just 2 minutes. He showed Rajshekhar's original autopsy report. It clearly said that a heavy weapon had hit his chest. This means his death was not a natural heart attack. Deva told her that the person who killed Rajshekhar might also target his family. That is why he wanted to stay and protect Preeti. But Preeti said her father would never come back, so she asked David to forget everything and let her live in peace. Still, Deva promised that he would take revenge for Rajshekhar's death because he was like his own brother. After that, Deva found Rajshekhar's drunk friend Ravi and questioned him many times. Finally, Ravi took Deva to a secret place where Rajshekhar had been working for the past 5 years. Ravi said that when Rajshekhar was at the research center, he built an electric chair after years of hard effort. This chair could turn any dead body into ashes instantly. It was also safer for the environment compared to the normal cremation process. But the authorities did not approve this invention. They were afraid that if this chair went into the hands of criminals, it would be dangerous. Not only did they reject it, but they also seized the chair. Rajshekhar was very confused about what to do after that. At the same time, there was a rising gangster named Simon. He started making huge amounts of money by doing smuggling outside the rules of his syndicate. The rest of the syndicate could not understand how Simon was getting so powerful so quickly, so they all tried to kill him. But Simon fought back and killed his rivals one by one. Whenever Simon was in danger, his loyal friend Dayal came to protect him. Dayal even took many knife wounds on his back while saving him. Seeing this, Simon went mad with anger and started shooting everyone until they were all dead. Finally, Simon finished off all his competitors and built his own empire. But he had to kill 22 men in one night. Now, he worried a lot about where to hide so many bodies. He could not sleep. At that time, his son Arjun told him about a man at customs who had made a strange chair. This chair could turn any dead body into ashes in a moment. Hearing this, Simon went straight to Rajshekhar. At first, Rajshekhar refused, but Simon threatened to kill Rajshekhar's 3 daughters. So Rajshekhar had to agree. That night, Rajshekhar used the chair with his elder daughter Preeti to cremate the 22 dead bodies. The chair really burned all the bodies into ash in one moment. Simon paid Rajshekhar and told him, "If you tell anyone, you will be finished. From now on, you must do this job for me when I ask." Rajshekhar had no choice and became Simon's employee. They made a secret room where Rajshekhar burned the bodies into ash for Simon and Dayal. After Rajshekhar died, only his daughter Preeti knew how to run the chair. Deva thought Simon's people would force Preeti to do the job now. And soon, we see that his idea was right. After Rajshekhar's death, Simon worried about how to destroy the dead bodies. He ordered Dayal to force Preeti to do the work. Dayal sent men to the hostel to take Preeti. They told her to come out or they would hurt her. Then Deva arrived. He said, "If you try to touch her." Deva fought the gangsters in a fierce way. The hostel girls watched in shock. Deva beat up about 20 to 25 men by himself. After a long fight, the leader told Deva that they came because Dayal ordered them to take Preeti. Deva laughed and said, "If you had told me, I would have come myself, because only I can operate that machine." But in reality, Deva did not know how to run the machine. Still, he took Preeti to Dayal, pretending that she was the machine operator. His real plan was to slowly find out all the secrets of the gang. Dayal could not believe that Deva had beaten so many men. Even his gang members started to think Deva might be a police spy. Meanwhile, Simon kept calling Dayal, pressuring him to find the operator fast. At that moment, another man attacked Deva, but Deva caught him and smashed him against a table. Then he told Dayal, "If you don't trust me, I will leave right now." Dayal had no choice but to take him to the secret room. There, he showed a dead body in the chair and asked Deva to run the machine. Deva told Dayal to wait outside because of the high voltage. Then, he whispered to Preeti, asking her how to run the system. But Preeti had only been inside the room twice in her life, so even she didn't fully remember. After trying many times together, they finally managed to start the machine. When the machine worked, Dayal was overjoyed. In seconds, the dead body turned into ashes. From that moment, Deva and Preeti began operating the machine together. This meant Deva was now working for Simon, just like Rajshekhar once did. But secretly, Deva kept doing his own investigation. One day, Arjun found out that someone in their gang had secretly met with the police. He told Dayal about it. Then, Dayal tied up that man named Rishi and took him to Simon. On that day, a wedding party was happening at the port, so Simon came in person. In front of everyone, Simon first untied Rishi's hands, but then he took a hammer and struck him to death. Meanwhile, after more investigation, Deva realized something shocking. Rajshekhar was not killed by Simon's men, because Rajshekhar was too important to their gang. Deva now had to find out who really killed Rajshekhar. Before that, he told Preeti to leave the place. It was not safe for her to stay, but Preeti would not leave. Deva asked her, "Are you doing this just for money?" Preeti said she had to do this dangerous work to pay for her sister's schooling and future after her father died. Deva gave him his own money to help. Preeti did not want to take it at first, but Deva said, "For what your father did for me, this money means nothing. Take it." He asked her to go back to her sisters. Right then, Dayal called and ordered Preeti to come to him. Simon himself had asked for her, so Preeti had to go back to meet Simon. When Simon saw Preeti, he said he felt he had seen her before. Deva pretended he never met Simon. He ignored it and showed 2 dead bodies. Seeing one of those bodies made Deva freeze. The dead man was Dayal, Simon's right-hand man. That means Simon had killed Dayal, not Rishi. In a shocking twist, Simon had smashed Dayal with a hammer and left him dead. Then, Simon put up a public reward board, 2 crore rupees for anyone who could touch the board first. The port went crazy. People rushed, and one man finally touched the board and claimed the money. Simon's madness had reached a new level. After killing Dayal, Simon did not burn his body. Instead, he told Deva to bury Dayal in a nearby graveyard. He wanted Dayal's death to send a message to the police department. So Deva and Preeti took the bodies to that graveyard and buried them together. But then something strange happened. Just as they were leaving the graveyard, a hand suddenly came out of the grave like a ghost. It was Dayal's hand. He was still alive. Deva rushed back, pulled him out, and cleared the mud from his face. He begged for his life. He said he had not seen his family for 5 years, and he had 2 small kids waiting for him. At that moment, Deva secretly called one of Simon's men and told him Dayal was alive. The man told Deva not to kill Dayal yet. He said Dayal had property worth more than 200 crore rupees. If they could get the property first, then they could share it. The man started coming toward the graveyard. But the news also reached Simon. He called Deva and said, "If you finish Dayal, I'll give you something in return." Even though Preeti begged him not to, Deva agreed to kill Dayal. He buried Dayal back in the grave and sat nearby, waiting. Later, Simon's man arrived. When he heard that Deva had already finished Dayal, he pulled his own hair in anger. But Deva explained, "If Dayal had somehow reached the commissioner's office, we would all be in danger." Then, the man took Deva to Simon. At the port, Simon was throwing a big party. When Deva arrived, Simon stopped the music and called him close. He opened his laptop and said, "Didn't I say I'd give you something if you killed Dayal? Here, this is your big gift." He played a video. Deva's heart almost stopped. On the screen, he saw Dayal beating Rajshekhar again and again in the chest. Right before dying, Rajshekhar whispered something in Dayal's ear. This meant Dayal was the real killer of Rajshekhar. But why had he killed him? Deva kept asking himself this question. One thing was now clear. Simon was a mastermind. He already knew Deva was Rajshekhar's friend and that Deva was here to find the truth. That's why Simon had been keeping a close watch on him all along. But the most shocking truth is that Deva did not really kill Dayal. Later it is revealed that because Dayal begged for his life, and Preeti also requested, Deva decided not to kill him. Instead, he put Dayal on a train and let him go. That means, without knowing, Deva saved the man who killed his best friend Rajshekhar. Before sending him away, Deva told one of his men to travel with Dayal because he was too weak to go alone. Deva wanted to go with them, but Preeti stopped him and told him to meet Simon instead. Preeti herself stayed with Dayal, but since Dayal was the killer of Rajshekhar, we can already guess how dangerous it was for Preeti to stay with him.
Meanwhile, Deva kept asking everyone what Rajshekhar whispered in Doyle's ear before dying. Simon said, "What's the use now? Both of them are already dead." But Simon didn't know the truth. Doyle was still alive. Just then, Deva got a phone call from Doyle. He had also taken Preeti as a hostage. Deva asked him again, "What did Rajshekhar whisper to you before he died?" Doyle said, "He came close to my ear and said one word, powerhouse. To know what this powerhouse means, we must go back 30 years in time." 30 years ago, Deva was the leader of the port union workers. Back then, he was always involved in fights. His best friend, Rajshekhar, always stood by him. Deva was not only Rajshekhar's friend, but also the lover of Rajshekar's younger sister. That is why we earlier saw Preeti give Deva a photo, which was the last memory of him with Rajshekar's sister. Sadly, Preeti's mother and Deva's lover both died in a tragic gas cylinder blast. One day, 30 years ago, after a fight, Rajshekhar made Deva promise never to drink alcohol again. From that day, Deva never touched alcohol for 30 years. But surprisingly today, after Simon Simon's offer, Deba finally picked up a bottle. He even rubbed the drink into his beard in a strange way before drinking it. Watching him like this, the same man appeared, the one who earlier told Simon not to kill Doyle. The man told Deba that he knew Deba had made some secret deal with Preeti and Doyle. He warned Deba that if he didn't tell the truth, he would kill him. Deba didn't answer. Instead, he pushed his sword straight into the man's chest and killed him. Right then, Simon pointed a gun at Deba. Deba calmly said that this man was the one who told him to keep Doyle alive. Simon listened and said, "Fine, I accept that. But when he dies, that's for me to decide." Then Simon told Deba to say sorry, but Deba ignored him and walked away. Simon couldn't shoot him because something about Deba felt too familiar. It kept bothering his mind, as if he had seen Deba somewhere before. After Deba walked out, Doyle called him. Since the world thought he was already dead, he told Deba that now he had to follow his orders. Doyle reminded him that Preeti was still his hostage. Deba had no choice but to agree. Then Doyle told Preeti the story of how he killed her father. He explained that Rajshekhar, while working under Simon, had unknowingly collected too much secret information. He even created a file with everything. When Doyle found out, he tortured Rajshekhar badly. In the end, Rajshekhar begged him to make his death look natural. He said, "If not, a man called Powerhouse will come after you." Hearing this, Doyle got angry and punched him in the chest again and again until he died. But this makes things confusing. If Rajshekhar was really working for Simon, why did Doyle think he was an undercover cop? Don't worry, the truth will be revealed at the end of the movie and it will shock you. For now, Doyle used Preeti as a hostage to force Deba to do all his work. Following his instructions, Deba moved around different places and finally reached a secret vault to get the hidden file. But there, suddenly, he met Simon's son Arjun. He wanted to marry his girlfriend but couldn't tell his father, so he planned to ask Deba to talk to Simon for him. He chose Deba because Deba was the only one who could look straight into Simon's eyes without fear. Arjun asked for some time, and Deba promised he would help him later. After that, Deba continued following Doyle's orders and reached a secret room. Inside, some men were already sitting with another informer. This was the same informer who earlier received a reward of 2 crore rupees as announced by Simon. The gang guarding the informer told Deba, "Look, he already has 2 crore rupees. If we hand him over to the boss, we'll get another 2 crore. Why don't you make a deal with us too?" Deba agreed to take the man to Simon. But as soon as they got in the car, the gang leader felt something was off. All gang members had the password to the secret room, so how did Deba even know it? When they asked him, Deba didn't answer. Suddenly, all the gangsters charged at him with sharp weapons, but Deba, with his deadly fighting skills, took them down one by one. Even with all their weapons, none could touch him. Instead, he used their own weapons against them and eliminated them all. After defeating them, Deba untied the hostage informer. The informer revealed that the file Doyle had asked him to bring wasn't an ordinary file. It contained a shocking criminal record. Simon, under the cover of gold and watch smuggling, was actually running a heart trafficking business. He killed people to harvest their hearts and sold them to wealthy foreign clients. The hearts came from ordinary laborers. First, the victims were kept healthy with medical checks. Then one night, while they slept, they were killed for their hearts. Doyle had been working this mission to get this information. After learning this, Deba burned the bodies and left. Deba had also placed his own men to watch Doyle. They discovered that Doyle had once been a police constable named Dilip, but he had deliberately failed certain exams so there would be no police record against him. Then Doyle called Deba, giving him one last task: bring Simon's son Arjun to him. After that, Preeti would be freed and Deba would be safe. Preeti had been tied with a literal dog chain, but Deba decided not to do anything yet. He wanted to finish everything carefully. Deba met Arjun, who got into his car to explain something. Soon, Doyle called again and ordered Deba to kill Arjun with a pistol. Deba tried to convince Doyle not to, saying Arjun was the best among them. But when Doyle threatened to kill Preeti, Deba took a different route with Arjun. Arjun realized what Deba was planning. He confessed he had been trying to leave the gang for a long time, but his father Simon had prevented it. He knew that someday he might die, but never thought it would be at Deba's hands. Deba said nothing and drove him to the riverbank. At the riverbank, Arjun found his girlfriend waiting for him. Instead of harming him, Deba told Arjun to go and escape. Arjun was shocked, but a wave of gratitude spread across his face. Meanwhile, Simon was busy in a meeting with foreign members of the Harris Mangling gang. After that, he was supposed to meet another big mafia leader named Daha. Before Simon could reach there, news arrived that Arjun was leaving with Deba in the car. After Deba released Arjun, Simon called, but Arjun told him he was at a party with friends. Then he reunited with his girlfriend, ready to escape. News of Deba letting Arjun go reached Doyle almost instantly. Furious, Doyle video called Deba and threatened to throw Preeti from the 15th floor. Initially, Deba pleaded to let Preeti go, but suddenly his voice hardened. When Doyle heard Deba's real name, he was shocked as if seeing a ghost. Deba then ordered Doyle to send his men to check the secret vault for any files. But Doyle soon realized that Deba had already emptied all the files from the vault. Not only that, Deba also rescued Preeti's 2 sisters who had been taken hostage. Yet, when Doyle threatens Preeti again, Deba triggered a high-powered bomb, laughing as chaos unfolded. The moment Deba released Arjun, Doyle learned about it. Deba realized that this leak came from Arjun's girlfriend, as no one else had been present. Using his assistant, Deba quickly uncovered her identity. She was none other than Kalyani, Doyle's wife, secretly working with Deba on this mission.
What a twist! Deba had cleverly turned the tables. Before Arjun could leave, Deba revealed the truth to him and strapped Kalyani into the electric chair, making sure she couldn't escape. Faced with the sight of his wife in danger, Doyle, once a fierce enforcer, turned into a timid shadow, releasing Preeti as instructed. Preeti, following Deba's plan, placed a chain around his neck, and with one final slap, Doyle was left humiliated. Meanwhile, Deba stationed Rajshekhar's friend Ravi as a lookout in the colony. Before leaving, Ravi confided a shocking truth. If anyone called Deba's old landline asking about the port workers, it would reveal that he had a biological child, conceived with Rajshekhar's sister, which Deba had kept hidden all these years. Ravi had tried multiple times to tell him, but never found the courage. Hearing this, Deba was overwhelmed with emotion. Immediately, he called his team to check if anyone had tried to reach his landline. Thankfully, no calls had come in yet. He then set off for the mansion, knowing that Simon's men were already on site. Back at the hideout, Kalyani erupted into uncontrollable sobs. Arjun, initially frustrated, softened upon seeing her grief. Despite Ravi's repeated warnings, he freed her from all restraints. Overcome with relief, Kalyani clung to him, tears streaming down her face. But in a sudden shift, she pushed him away and began striking out wildly. Clearly, trust and loyalty were fragile in this world of betrayals. Deba's team attempted to intervene, but Arjun defended Kalyani, neutralizing them all. It became clear that Kalyani wasn't Doyle's wife at all. She had been a covert partner in the mission. Both had been selected by the police department to operate together, tasked with gathering sensitive intelligence. Following the rules would have earned them medals, but playing their own game meant they could amass vast wealth. For years, they had been trailing the gang, but the mission had yet to be completed. Meanwhile, Rajshekhar had been killed by Doyle to ensure that no one else could uncover these secrets, preserving their leverage and control. Only after completing the mission would they hand over everything to the police and claim their medals. But their careful plans began to unravel. Once freed, Kalyani called Doyle to inform him of her escape. Upon hearing this, Doyle immediately set out to find Preeti. By that time, Deba's team had already whisked her far away, keeping her safe from harm. Doyle, seizing 2 motorcycles from bystanders, revved up at breakneck speed, closing in relentlessly on them. As he tried to intercept their moving car, a fierce struggle ensued inside the vehicle. The car lost control, crashing into the road divider and coming to a screeching halt. Doyle stepped forward to grab Preeti, but his men blocked him, forcing him to eliminate them one by one. Before he could finish them all, one person managed to escape with Preeti. They jumped onto a moving train, thinking they were safe, but Doyle arrived moments later. Inside the train, he advanced relentlessly towards Preeti, slaughtering anyone who tried to stop him. It was as if Doyle had transformed into a living monster, unstoppable and terrifying. Meanwhile, Deba returned to the mansion and confirmed that Preeti's 2 sisters were safe. Relieved, he let out a deep breath, but danger loomed. Simon's men, having reviewed the footage from the secret room, were already prepared to strike. To protect Preeti, Deba cranked up the loud music, masking the chaos of battle from her ears. What followed was sheer martial artistry. Deba single-handedly dismantled Simon's entire gang with unmatched precision. Meanwhile, Doyle, after clearing most obstacles, approached dangerously close to Preeti. At that critical moment, Preeti remembered something Rajshekhar had told her years ago. If ever she were in danger in his absence, she should call a specific number he had left in her phone. Dialing it would summon someone to help, but she did not know that the person was Deba. Desperate, she followed his instructions and called the number. Inside the mansion, amidst the chaos of battle, Deba's phone rang. Fighting with every ounce of strength, he crushed Simon's gang single-handedly before grabbing the phone.
Hearing Preeti's voice sent a shock through his chest. When she mentioned the port worker number, he realized the truth. Preeti was his child. Before he could rush to her, Doyal had seized her, and Deba's allies couldn't stop him. When the call abruptly ended, Deba went into a frenzy, decimating Simon's remaining men in a whirlwind of lethal precision. During a struggle between Doyal and one of Deba's allies, Preeti's phone fell onto the railway tracks. Desperate, Deba tried calling her repeatedly, but the call couldn't connect. Undeterred, he continued eliminating Simon's men with one hand while tracking the other threat. Meanwhile, Doyal killed Deba's last companion and called Kalyani to inform her. Preeti had slipped from his grasp, but Deba would stop at nothing to save her. If Doyal failed to capture her, Deba would lose the passports, gold, and crucial documents. Kalyani, however, revealed the location of everything. She instructed Doyal to board a car parked in the lot number 0026 while she had already secretly positioned herself on the train. Doyal, fully aware of what needed to be done, approached the parking lot, lifted a flag stand, and climbed into the car. He immediately video-called Simon, showing a display of tears and desperation. At that moment, Simon was finishing a meeting in a theater-like space. Doyal explained that he was forced to act against Simon because if he didn't, Deba would kill his wife. As the camera panned, Simon's blood ran cold, literally frozen in fear, when he saw Arjun tied up on the passenger seat. Kalyani had secured him there beforehand. Arjun, following Deba's instructions, apologized to Simon and then gruesomely slashed his own heart, leaving Simon in utter shock and panic. The sight pushed Simon over the edge. He immediately fled the country on his private jet. Meanwhile, Simon's remaining men stormed the mansion, planting multiple bombs across the walls. Their leader wielded an axe and engaged in a brief skirmish with Deba. He warned Deba that they knew everything about his past, including the presence of 18 port workers inside the mansion, all of whom were already held hostage. They planned to kill them instantly if a signal was given. But Deba, unshaken, pressed the signal himself. The 18 hostages, now under Deba's command, turned the tables on Simon's gang, overwhelming them with precision and force. That besides the 18, one extraordinary worker named Kalyasha had joined the fight. At Doyal's command, Kalyasha entered the battle with unmatched ferocity. Together, Deba and Kalyasha, along with their team, systematically decimated Simon's forces. Deba even retrieved an axe from his back, cutting down anyone who dared to approach. Kalyasha single-handedly took out numerous attackers, showcasing her incredible strength. In the end, Deba and Kalyasha wiped out Simon's entire gang, leaving nothing but silence and ruin in their wake. Meanwhile, Kalyani tried to take Preeti to Deba under the guise of helping her, placing her in a car. But to their shock, the driver's seat was occupied by one of Simon's men. Seeing these armed men, Kalyani's hand instinctively reached for a hidden knife in her shoe, but she quickly froze, realizing the futility. They immediately took her and Preeti straight to Simon. Simon had Preeti seated and turned to Kalyani to say that among the world, only one person could enjoy his 5,000 crore property, and Kalyani had no interest in it, otherwise she would have been seated in his place. Yet she had trapped that very person in a web of love and orchestrated their death. Simon then video-called Doyal to show Kalyani's predicament. Despite her pleas, Simon mercilessly used her own knife to eliminate her. Doyal could only watch helplessly.
At this moment, Deba arrived at Simon's lair to save Preeti. Simon taunted him, claiming that if Deba hadn't spared Doyal, Arjun would still be alive. To inflict the agony of losing a loved one, he threatened to kill Preeti in front of Deba. Then, to further unsettle him, Simon demanded that Deba reveal his true identity because he had suspected from the start that Deba was not a stranger. Simon sent Preeti to an operation chamber to have her heart literally removed, while his men waited for a signal on walkie-talkies. Deba, confronting the horror, began recounting his own past. Years ago, Deba had been a mere laborer. Like many others in the Union, he would transport goods on behalf of powerful bosses, unaware of their contents. One day, under the instructions of a foreign client, he discovered that drugs were hidden in all the boxes they were delivering. They were told that if 100 people confessed their crimes, everyone else would be freed. At this point, many innocent laborers, despite having no guilt, took the blame upon themselves. Deba, the husband of Rajshekhar's sister, also joined them, ignoring his own family. Preeti hated him for this, seeing him disregard his loved ones. Later, instead of being freed, the foreign owners tried to execute them in the middle of the sea. A brutal fight ensued, claiming many lives, but the Union leader, Deba Raj, also known as Deba Nees, killed the owner, Xavier, Simon's father, and all his men. This shocking revelation stunned young Simon, who had witnessed his father's death at Deba's hands.
That explained why he had always felt a strange familiarity toward Deba. In a brief moment of calm, Deba turned off his walkie-talkie and revealed to Preeti the ultimate truth. She was not just a friend's daughter, she was his own daughter. With everything revealed, Simon went berserk, attacking Deba. This led to the movie's most intense fight sequence. Both were evenly matched. Every punch, kick, and gunshot was lethal. Deba used his pistol to eliminate Simon's henchmen while engaging Simon in close combat. Eventually, Simon fell into Deba's trap, and Deba, wielding a machete, began brutally striking him. Simon's final attempt was to warn Deba that if he died, someone else would come to finish him off. He also ordered, via walkie-talkie, the removal of Preeti's heart. But Kalisha, one of Deba's allies, had already eliminated all of Simon's men. In a truly unprecedented move, Deba wrapped Simon's neck with a chain made from his luxury watch collection, killing him instantly. With Simon and his gang finally defeated, Deba took Preeti and headed toward the mansion. Suddenly, a new group of assailants appeared, surrounding them. This group was unlike Simon's gang. They blindfolded Deba and took him far away into a desert. When he opened his eyes, he saw numerous gangsters and innocent captives tied up around him. Then, a helicopter descended, revealing Daha, a notorious mafia kingpin whom Simon had planned to meet. Entering with supreme swag and bringing his sick father along, Daha immediately showcased dominance, dual rifles in hand, executing the captives with precision. He then asked his father, Kakkar, whether the enemies had been eliminated. Kakkar ordered him to finish Deba and the rest. At that moment, Daha raised a sword and delivered a crushing blow to Deba's chest. Suddenly, seeing his face, Daha stops his sword. Then, we see a flashback. 30 years ago, Deba killed Xavier and his entire gang. Daha was watching from far away. Daha's father was Xavier's business partner. Seeing Deba fight like that, Daha became his huge fan. For 30 years, he looked for Deba. Daha wanted someone strong like Deba to be his right-hand man. Now, after all these years, Daha sees Deba again. He gives the same offer to Deba. Deba tells Daha he wants to talk to Kakkar first. Then, Deba tells Daha, if anyone harms the workers, I will kill them all, including you and Kakkar. Kakkar is shocked. He can't believe Deba is so strong. Then, Deba agrees to the Huss plan. Meanwhile, Deba's men capture Doyle. Deba says, this is my target. Then he goes to Doyle and asks, what will you say to Rajshekhar? Doyle replies, I will ask him about the powerhouse thing. Deba kicks Doyle into a huge hole. His men bury him alive. Finally, Deba gets full revenge for his friend. He becomes the right-hand man of a big mafia. This is the end of this amazing, intense movie. So, tell me how you liked the video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like. See you in the next video.